Changing minds one thought at a time.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's edition of Changing Minds Online. You are what you think. Good evening, Aikyna.
Good evening, Jessica.
How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I am great. I'm ready for this wonderful conversation that we're getting ready to have tonight.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that you are doing great because as you know, the topic of tonight is you are what you think. And tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about our mindset and how our life is a direct reflection of what we're thinking and what our mindset is. So I'm really excited about this call. This is a topic that I've really been devoting a lot of time and energy to really studying and understanding. And it's one which is really new for me to explore. But I've done a lot of reading recently and over the last few weeks and really kind of just doing a lot of experimenting with the idea that we live in a vibrational world and that our thoughts materialize and that we can really make the lives we want to live by just changing our mindset. And that's something which is really new to me. And, you know, we've always talked about us both being very into personal growth and development, and I wanted to just kind of take the listeners tonight on the journey with me that I have been on in this past. And I know, Aikyna, you've spoken a lot about this before. This is a topic you've taught about in the past, right, in your university teaching history?
Yes. I usually tell the story about how I became a doctor, and I basically said beyond all of the naysayers and the negativity, I saw myself as Dr. Finch. I thought of myself as Dr. Finch, and I became Dr. Finch. And it was because of the mindset that I was in. If I had been in a negative mind space, I would have believed all those people that were telling me that it wouldn't happen or that maybe I should rethink my path. But because my mindset was on I am Dr. Finch, then I made it so. Does that make sense, Jessica?
Absolutely. And, you know, the same thing for myself. I mean, there's definitely been many struggles I've had, both things I was told that I would not be able to do by doctors due to the physical limitations or physical, diagnosis I have, because I don't really have any physical limitations. But, you know, just things, we all have had some experiences in our life where someone told us that we cannot do something we want to do or that we're supposed to be at only a certain level. And we've said many times on this call, and I just want to reiterate it tonight, you know, someone else's perceptions of who you are does not have to be your reality. And again, this is really a topic which more and more I've become very well acquainted and very familiar with. So I've done a lot of really reading about this topic, and one of the most common place everyone starts is The Secret, and I think a lot of people have some understanding now of what that is and have interaction of what that book is or the movie. That was my first step, and I did start reading that book. And the first time I was introduced to this topic, and I want to tell the story because I think a lot of people may be in the same place as me. This was about 3 or 4 years ago, and at the time I thought that as a Christian that this was a topic which I should not get involved with. I thought that this was contrary to my religious beliefs, and I better stay away from it. The idea that, you know, traditionally Christianity teaches us to focus on love and God, and that, you know, we shouldn't really focus on material things. And I, like many people, used to have the perception that to pray and to ask for material things would be going against God and going against my religion. And years later, when I came back to look at this topic, I have a different approach now, and I have a different opinion. And I have found a way to really make my religious beliefs and this topic work, and really just realizing that I'm not compromising that. So, and I just wanted to put that out there because I know, Aikyna, you too, right? How, you know, if someone tells you, you know what, you can have anything you want if you think on it and you pray for it, you know, had an experience where people initially told you or thought to you, hey, you know what, that's really contrary to God's will, you shouldn't do that? Is that something anyone's ever told you before?
You know, honestly, in my life, all of the people that I associate with have always said that, you know, speak it into existence. Make it, once you speak it, it's out there in the atmosphere, and you need it, and it can happen. And it's always been that positive thought. If you believe it, you can make it so. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. It's always been the positive. I've never really had anyone to say that nothing was possible.
Well, that's awesome, and I'm really glad that you had that experience, and it seems like you had a really great scripting, as I think Stephen Covey kind of coined the term scripting, and you're learning from your past experiences. But, you know, my experience is a little bit different, and I do want to just share that with everyone tonight. So, you know, what I've really been realizing and understanding is that we are powerful creators, and, you know, there are many laws all around us. You know, the law of physics. If you jump out of a tree, the classic example, you will fall on the ground. You know, you're not going to float in the air. That is a law of physics. You know, and there's many other laws that exist in our universe that we are not aware of because we have not discovered them yet, or we haven't really understood them fully. And I used to think that this concept, like I said, was in contrary to religion. And so it's a topic I wasn't willing to look at. And now I'm really starting to understand, okay, you know what? That's kind of like saying the law of physics is not in harmony with religion. It is a law, and whether or not you believe in it, it does exist. And what I've really come to realize and understand through a lot of my readings, the teaching of Abraham, reading The Law of Connection, books by Michael Lauser, I'm reading a book now called E Squared, is that we are living in a vibrational world. And that the same way that radio waves are all around us, there are thoughts, and waves are all around us. They all have a vibrational signal. Now, let's take it for example. Aikyna, is there any music where you are right now? Do you have any music around you in your house? Yeah, is there any music in your house right now?
My radio in my laptop.
Okay, I mean, are you playing music right now? Is there music around you? Can you hear music right now?
No, I don't have any music right this second.
Okay. Now, what if I told you I beg to differ, that you not only have music right now, but in fact you have hundreds of different radio signals and music around you right
now?
Now, let me tell you why. Because the truth is that you could take out an AM, FM radio stereo, and I know some of the younger people on our call may not even know what those are, but back in the day when we were little, we used to have these things called radios where you would tune into signals and you would pick up different stations and AM and FM, and most people still have those in their car, although it's been a while since I've seen anyone have one in their house. And the truth is that there is lots of music all around us. At any given moment, wherever we are, almost anywhere on the planet, we could tap into lots of radio signals, and there's lots of noise, and there's lots of different vibrations that are all around us. And we don't necessarily see them. We don't necessarily feel them, but they are there. And we know they're there because we can measure them, and we can experience them by turning on the radio and tuning into their signals. And the same way that if we want to, we can turn into radio signals, the truth is there is an entire field of potentiality for creation around us that we can tap into if we learn how to tune into it. And that's really what I wanted to really talk about tonight, the idea that we are what we think, that our thoughts are very real, that they can be measured. There's a lot of new brain technology, and truthfully, I'm not an expert into what it is. I've had some familiarity with PET scans and EGGs, and I don't know a lot of the latest brain research, although I am attempting to learn more about it. But, science is really starting to show us that we can measure what we think. I think the first example of this was probably the lie detection test. This was probably the first time that scientists started to figure out you can actually measure the brain's activity. But the same way the brain works in radio signals, the radio works in signals and wavelengths, our thoughts also have wavelengths. So it really leaves us with two things. Number one, well, how do we control the signals of our wavelengths, our brains and our thoughts? Because the truth is, when you listen to the radio, there's lots of different stations. You can tune into, a rock and roll station. You can turn into a Christian rock station, a rap station, a country station. You can put on whatever kind of music you want. Well, the same way, you can think whatever you want, and your thoughts that you're going to be picking up are going to match the thoughts you're putting out. So when you dial on and tune on your radio, in New York, you can put on 100.3, which is Z100, and what would start playing would be, a list of, today's top hits. Well, the same sense, if you are thinking, I am beautiful, I am happy, I am loving, I am powerful, then you are going to actually pick up those signals. The same way tuning on a radio and turning on that radio is going to get you the signal you put out. Well, the same thing. Your thoughts are actually going to pick up the signals that you're putting out. So if you say, I am happy, I am blessed, I am fortunate, I am lucky, I am loving, I am caring, the things around you are going to represent that. You're going to have friends who are happy. You're going to find yourself in situations where you have good luck. You're going to find that your friends are nurturing and your friends are caring. And all around, you're going to find yourself in a state of happiness, a state of fulfillment, where you have the things that you want. Now, the other side to it is, if you are a person who focuses on negativity, you focus on, I am not beautiful. If you're a person who does not speak honestly, and you focus on dishonesty, you focus on distrust, you focus on unhappiness, unfulfillment, well, then your life is going to reflect that, and you're going to be attracting those things into your life. So what that really teaches us is, if you want to look and you really want to understand what is my internal mindset like, well, then you can look at your life. Because the current state of your life is a direct reflection of the current state of your mind. Now, this can be very difficult to digest and difficult to accept, because the truth is, the implication of that is that we are not a product of our circumstances, that we are a product of every single decision we have ever made. And, we may not be able to control the situations we're in, not all the time. Sometimes things just happen to us. But we can control our reactions to them, and we can control the way that we think about them. And our reactions to them and the way that we think about them are going to be a direct reflection of what we wind up attracting into our lives. Now, so we just realized we need to take ownership of our lives. We need to take responsibility that where we are today is a direct reflection, and only a direct reflection, of every thought we've ever made, of every decision we've ever made. That can be difficult. However, it also can be very uplifting. Why? Because it places us in an extreme place of power. If the truth is, if we are what we've created in the past, if we created the situations we're living, then we can create any other situation. If we thought our life into existence, we can think any life into existence. And that's where the real joy of studying this topic begins. Because guess what? You are powerful. You are a creator. You are what you think. And if you change your thoughts and you change your mind, you can have anything that you want. You can do anything you want. All you need to do is speak into an existence, set an intention, take action, and it will happen. What do you think of that?
Awesome, Jess. Awesome. Now, I want to touch on something that you said. You are powerful. You are, you're the person that's going to make your life. So now, where is a good time to start this type of mindset? Would you say maybe in your meditation?
You know what?
Meditation
is a great. Meditation's a really great way to really kind of practice changing the way that you think. And, meditation for me, what it really does is it helps you to focus on one thing. So in life, there's many, many distractions, and there's many different, like as we said, there's many signals all around us. What meditation allows us to do is to focus our energy on only one thing. The Bible tells us that we have the power to create miracles, the same way Jesus did. We can heal the sick. We can do all sorts of amazing things. We can make the blind see. Well, in order to really be able to create those type of extraordinary physical events, and I personally have had the privilege or the opportunity or experience of some very deep mystic experiences where I actually have seen, and I have also personally altered the physical environment in some way through my thoughts alone. But in order to do that, you need to be able to focus all of your energy, all of your intentions on one thing. And if you focus all of your energy, all your efforts, and all your intentions on just one thing, well, that becomes very powerful, and you can actually cause an impact. Now, meditation is a phenomenal, phenomenal way to get started. But even, another thing, and we've talked about this before, vision boards, intentions, affirmations. So for me, before, and we've said this again, but before you have a change on the outside in your life, you need to first change the inside. And all of us have many, many thoughts every day. We have thoughts. The truth is most of those thoughts are negative. And then the other side to it is most of those thoughts are the same thoughts we had the previous day, and we'll have them the next day. So what we need to do is start changing our thoughts from positive to negative. So if you're a person who tells me all my friends are gossiping and all my, maybe my partner cheated on me, my friends lied to me, well, the truth is that maybe you're attracting those things because in some way that's either what you're putting out that you want. Maybe you're not a person of honesty. So, we need to really look at our lives and look at our situation and take ownership. And then we need to change our thoughts. And one of the big things is many people focus on what they don't want. I don't want to be sick. I don't want a partner who lies to me. I don't want to be in debt. Well, when you're focusing on the not, what you don't want, you're going to wind up attracting those things into your life. Why? Because the sickness, when you're thinking about sickness, whether or not you're thinking I don't want sickness, the only thing that you're really thinking about and you're focusing on is sickness. So you're going to attract sickness. If you're focusing on debt and you're continually focusing on being in debt, even if the notion behind that focus is I don't want to be in debt, you're going to attract debt. Why? Because that's what you're thinking about all the time. So rather than thinking about what we don't want, you need to think about what you do want. And rather than thinking about ourselves in a negative way, we need to think about ourselves in a positive way. So I do, a couple things every single day. One is I write out all my goals, and I actually add to those goals, and I cross them out every day as I achieve them. I'm up to a little over 2,000 goals, but don't start there. I've built that practice over several years of doing this type of work. Write what your life would look like if you were living your ideal life, and then begin to focus on those things. And instead of focusing, again, what you don't want, don't put on your list, I want to get out of debt. Why? Because you're focusing on debt. You put on your list, I want to be financially free. Don't focus on if you want to quit smoking, don't put on your list, I want to quit smoking, but I want to live into my ideal body state. I want to create good habits that are beneficial for my body, and start focusing on things that you want. And, of course, the whole idea that you need to look in the mirror and very physically, say it out loud, I am beautiful, I am loving. Write these things down. I want everyone to have two homework assignments, before our next call on Thursday night. I want you to write 10 things that you'd like to create and attract into your life, and 10 things that you don't necessarily believe to be true, but that you want to believe to be true. For me, for a long time, I had an issue with body image, and I've spoken about this. I'm open about this. We did a call last Thursday on Body Image, 2 weeks ago on Body Image, we had a lovely guest, Valerie, come on, and she did this fantastic podcast in our Empowering Women series about having a healthy body image. And I was honest and said, listen, for years I didn't. Well, the way I changed that is I looked into the mirror. I was thankful, and I focused on the parts of my body I did like. And even in the beginning, there were none that I liked. But I looked in the mirror and said, wow, I have beautiful arms. Wow, I have a beautiful stomach. Wow, I'm really lucky that my eyebrows are shaped this way. And I started to believe them. And I started to affirm to myself over and over, I am beautiful. And eventually that changed in my mindset, and I started to love myself more. So those are really two great ways that I recommend to really begin to tap into your potential as a creator by looking at the law of attraction, the idea that we can manifest our thoughts and we can change our outcome, we can change what we receive if we change the way we think.
Wow, Jessica, I love that. I am a creator. I like the way you said that you could say the same thing just in a positive spin. I am, instead of saying, I want to be debt-free, I want to be, financially free. And, in my case, I am working on losing some weight right now. But I wouldn't say I want to lose weight. I want to say I want to get rid of excess pounds.
You know what, yeah, and even another way to look at that would be I want to live in my body's ideal state. That would be another really fantastic way to look at that. And rather than saying I want to focus on getting rid of something or focus on what you don't want, because honestly, excess pounds are what you don't want, focus on I want to live in my body's ideal state. I want to be physically fit. I want to be healthy. And then you're going to see the pounds are just going to start melting off as soon as you do that. And then the reason for this is really very simple. We talked about the idea that radio signals in our thoughts are kind of like radio signals. Well, whether or not it's a positive or negative, the universe can't really tell. So if we're focusing on losing weight, the vibration we're putting out there is weight. And there's no differentiating between the negative and the positive of having weight or losing weight. It's just not there.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So we need to put out what it is we are trying to attract. So we wouldn't say weight because we don't want to attract weight. We wouldn't say debt because we don't want to attract debt. We wouldn't say poverty because we don't want to attract poverty, right?
Absolutely. It's exactly right.
Okay.
You want to be thinking about what you want to attract, because if you think I don't want poverty, you're going to attract poverty, because the radio signal that you're throwing out there is poverty.
Okay, so instead we would put out words like love, peace, harmony, motivation, inspiration, things of that nature, right?
Absolutely. That's exactly right. Mhm.
Okay, so this is a great topic. I've noticed that in my getting towards my ideal body, I have noticed that it's a lot more emotional as well as physical. As the pounds go away, I've also noticed that feelings are coming up as well. And in my meditation time, I am combating those feelings, those negative feelings, with positive affirmations. So all of the negative feelings that got me where I am today are surfacing because I'm getting rid of the outer layer. And that is when you decide that you're going to make that change in your life. You have to be ready for all of the feelings that you have been pushing back because of the things that's been going on in your life. So you have to be ready to put in those positive affirmations. You got to be ready to come with that power. You got to be able to come with the creation to be ready to say, this is no longer me. And this is who I really am. And this is who I'm really going to be. And those are the reasons why we need to say put positive words in the atmosphere. Am I on the right track, Jessica?
Absolutely. Makes complete sense to me. It sounds like you completely got it, and you're ready to start creating the life that you want to live.
Oh, yes. Yes. And, as empowering women, that is one thing, because we tend to take on not only our emotions but other people's emotions too, because we are the nurturing breed. And we need to realize that as we're taking on other people's emotions, we still have to stay on positive level plane in order to combat all of the negativity that we may be taking on that we don't even know we're taking on. So in this, even when we go out to work, when we go out and socialize, we need to have our armor on, as to say, and it needs to be armor of positivity, So when somebody comes to us, oh, I just had this bad day. No, you had a day of learning. You had a day that you may not repeat anymore. You had a day that is going to make you stronger as an individual. Is that how we could, is that some ways that we could reframe it?
Yeah, absolutely. And those are all ways to look at. There's always a positive way to look at things. And actually right now, currently, and I'm going to be a little bit honest and raw on this call, I'm actually locked outside of my apartment, and my landlord is looking for the key as we speak to try and help me into my apartment. And what wound up happening was I was in New Jersey. I was visiting my parents at the beach house we have down in South Jersey, and my key fell off of my keychain, and I have no idea where it is. We looked and we traced my steps, but the truth is it really could be anywhere. And, it was very easy for me to say, I wanted to leave the house at noon, and I wanted to go back to New York. I wanted to do everything that I had to do for today. I wanted to get everything done. And instead, I got stuck down in New Jersey because, my landlord wasn't going to be home until later in the evening. Well, I could have looked at this and said, what, my whole day got messed up. I had this plan. Now it's not going to work. But the truth is, the way I looked at it is, who knows why I lost my key? Maybe if I would have left at noon, I would have got into a car accident and God spared my life by having me lose my key and making it so I didn't drive at that time. There's always a positive way to see a situation if you choose to see the positive. If you choose to see the negative, you're going to see the negative. If you choose to see the positive, you're going to choose to see the positive. There is always a positive spin. And actually, on that note, Aikyna, if you want to wrap up the call, I actually do need to sign off this call, guys, because my landlord just came. He just brought my key, and thank you for being so we have such a wonderful audience that I feel so, able to just kind of share with you guys what's really going on. And I want you guys to see that these calls are things that we do, because we really care about you guys, and we want to be as open and honest and transparent as possible because we are in a place of growth too. So I need to sign off. Aikyna, I'm going to leave you on the call. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. God bless. Have a great night. And I know Aikyna has a couple more wonderful things she wants to share before she signs off.
Well, thank you, everyone, and thank you, Jessica, for all the wonderful tidbits that you shared today. If you want to hear our podcast, we are on iTunes, Podomatic, and we're also on www.changeyourminds online. And you can also find us on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram. Anytime that you need some motivation, you need some inspiration, we're here for you. So we thank you all for listening today. We appreciate you, and we're here to empower, motivate, and inspire. Good night, everyone.